Let's get started. My name's Carolyn Weaver. I'm not doing something right here. Hello? Okay. My name's... I'm just going to talk loud. Can I just talk loud?
What?
Let me see. If you can't hear me, tell me. But I used to be a teacher, and I sort of had one of those projecting voices. My name's Carolyn Weaver. Am I okay? Okay. And I am with the academic group at Westlaw. We work with the law schools, and I in particular work with developing online educational research resources, both for students and for faculty. And what we're going to be talking about today are really three products that we've just come out with. They're on TWEN. Is anyone here not familiar with TWEN? Good, good. So, you know, we're kind of proud of it because it was developed by law professors, for the law professors. And the three projects I'm going to be showing you that today, it's sort of a work that has been put together between using both the resources of the law professors and what we could do for them on TWEN. So it's been a real collaborative effort on our part. And the first one I'm going to show you is CiteStation. I did hand out some manuals that are kind of scattered around. What happened with CiteStation, actually, Dan right here is the TWEN developer, so if you have any real technical questions, that's why he's sitting here, he can answer them. But he was telling me this, and I didn't know the full history. At one of the conferences, much like this, some of the TWEN people got together with some law professors in a hotel room, and the law professors just gave them a wish list of what they would like to be on TWEN. They happened to be people that were teaching citation, and if you've ever taken a citation course, it is the most tedious, horrible part of law school, both for the professors and the students. Nothing could be worse to teach. And what they said is we need some kind of an exercise that will present citation in the context of regular legal documents, so it's not just this kind of sterile little, which is the right answer type of exercise. We need them so that they don't only teach how to cite, but why you cite, when you cite, and what to cite. You know, making the choice between authorities to cite. They wanted a broader concept of teaching citation. And then the other thing they wanted was instant feedback to the students, so the students would know immediately if they were right or wrong, and then a way to send them to the right answer. So they developed CiteStation, and you'll see it's on this page right here. If you, after July 1st, is it, Dan, or when is the new?
Early July.
Okay, we'll say early July. Early next month, if you create a new legal research and writing course, the CiteStation button will automatically appear below the line, and you can move it up so the students can actually see it. If for some reason you have an old legal research and writing course, or it's a non-legal research and writing course, and you'd like to add CiteStation to it, there is a way to do it.
Yes.
Yes. What do? You go into modify course, and then modify course information, and there'll be an option to add CiteStation. So anybody can have it now. Up till now, you had to call in, and we had to actually kind of inject it into your course. But as of early July, that will no longer be a problem. Okay, now I'm going to just open up CiteStation, and this is what the page looks like. It's a series of exercises. There's 8 ALWD, 8 Blluebook. And for those who would be using the Blluebook, the authors are, as I'm speaking, they're working on bringing the Blluebook exercises into conformance with the new edition, the 18th edition, that will be released later this summer. They have advanced copies, and they're on top of it. You can see, and I did this on purpose, you can go under your properties, and as you know, you can hide whichever ones you want from your students. So you can display whatever you want, hide whatever you want, and if you're real into control, you can, if you're familiar with TWEN, you can have it set up that, so this is on display one week, this is on display the next week. You could actually program them into when they would take these exercises. Of course, you could delete them. I'm going to, if you look at kind of the topics of them, this is one of the other nice things about them. All the topics that the CiteStation authors, who are 4 law school professors, West did not author these at all. But they chose rather current, interesting, short topics that are really interesting. This one, personal jurisdiction via the internet, it's about some kind of kooky woman somewhere that defamed someone on her website. This protecting order for inadvertent disclosure, a lawyer got real careless and sent an email to the opposing attorney, things like that. The one that we're going to go into is this enforceability of a charitable pledge, just because I personally think it's a real interesting thing to work with. Okay, there are the names of the authors right there at the top. You might recognize some of them. They're basically from the University of Minnesota, University of Detroit Mercy, and Danielle now has gone over to Windsor Law School in Canada. But the first page you come to is this one that sort of a disclaimer, citation, other skills covered, directions, etc. And then you start the exercise itself. Okay. This was as a memorandum. And you see it's in the exact form, the correct format. In their disclaimer, the authors are careful to say, now please don't take this as, don't teach legal writing from this, but they're very, very well done, except for the built-in mistakes that were intended for questioning purposes. But the short answer, the facts, there's a built-in contract, the pledge that someone made to this charitable institution, the analysis. And then we get to, right here, you'll come to these icons, question mark icons. That's a question link, and it indicates at least one question is hidden in that icon. It can be between 1 and I think as many as 8 in this particular set of exercises. But all the student does is click on it. The question pops up, and I'm not going to get into it here, but you know, you can manipulate it if you wish so that you can see both the questions and the text at the same time. You answer the question, submit your answer. I got it wrong. Now, CiteStation is programmed so that it's going to, the default is so that only the first answer is scored, just in case people want to capture that. But it's not until the student, notice it says try again, when the student gets the right answer, then they're told they're correct and they're directed to the right rule. Now sometimes there'll be a lot more than this, sometimes it's just the rule, and on 2 or 3 occasions they make a point of there's not being a rule there because there's no rule that covers this situation, which I thought was an interesting concept. When you're done with that, then you go on to your next one. And you can see this is a much more complicated, I don't even know what the right answer is here, I'm sorry, but okay, I'm incorrect. Let me try D. This is terrible. When you see the scores on this, it's really because no one, other than the authors, we don't really try to get right answers, so we just guess until we... Okay, this better be right or I'm moving on. Okay, I'm moving on. Okay, we go to 3. Okay, I got it there. Okay, so I got all the correct, finished all the answers, and then close the question link. Now, if I scroll down a little bit, I don't know if you can tell, but as you open and close a question link, then the color of the icon reverses so you can track where you've been. And then, of course, the student would work through there's, you can see the icons scattered throughout this document. And none of the documents are unbelievably long. And then, like on any TWEN, you can view results. And because of the way I did this, you can see there's a lot of question links that I didn't answer. That wouldn't be normal. But in case a student inadvertently missed a question, they can go back at this point and return to the document and answer the question. But probably that wouldn't happen. They'd submit the quiz. I got 1 out of 29 right. And if I wanted to, do you see right here, the student then can click to print the copy of the quiz so that they could go to ALWD or Blluebook or whatever and really study the questions offline. Okay, going back to the home page, now as the professor, if I wanted to see how the students did, of course I would click on results over under management options, right there, and these are all either me, Dan, or a couple programmers here, so that's why we had such miserable, miserable results. But you can see, hopefully your students would do much better than this. The average score was 0.4. But what I like to emphasize on this is if you click on breakdown of combined quiz responses, I think this is a wonderful feature of TWEN. It breaks down all the questions by answer, so you can look at your class scores and decide where they're weak, where they need help, and even because so many answered this D wrong answers so consistently, you can get an idea that their thought processes, why they're going wrong. So that is CiteStation. Do you have any questions? And we're always taking suggestions for improvement, by the way. Yes?
Can you adapt that, say, in a jurisdiction to like the local rules so that you can use it in conjunction with, say, the rules of the Ohio Supreme Court?
Yeah. Yes and no. The CiteStation we just looked at is locked in place. But because CiteStation we got so excited about CiteStation, we developed document quizzes. That's when you can load anything you want, embed your own questions, and I did it for the first time the other day. I thought, I wonder how hard this is going to be to do. It is not. You load your own document as a document. At the top it says, click where you want to insert one of those question links. You click, it says, a new question. You click on that, you put in their question and the answers and the right answer. It says another question or close question link. It couldn't be simpler. I would show you on here, except this is not my computer and I don't feel like I should be pulling up somebody else's documents to do it. But you could certainly use the same material and then, but you would have to load it into document quizzes, not CiteStation.
Okay. Thank you.
Now the next thing I want to show you is,
I'm sorry.
oh yeah, I'm sorry.
CiteStation, while it won't automatically appear for the archive courses, let's say that professors refresh, is it available now for them to add by going into course management?
No. For the next couple weeks, if you call any of the TWEN helpline, the technical support people, anybody at West on one of those helplines is trained to put it in any course you ask them to. After the 1st of July is when you can do it yourself. Dan?
You can even show it. The way that come July, you're going to be able to add CiteStation into any course that you wish. And to do that, maybe Carolyn, you could show that here. On the left navigation area of the page, there's a section where it says Modify Course.
Down there.
Yep. There you go. And then within there will be the first link, Modify Course Information. And in this area, there's going to be a section where it'll ask you, do you want to make CiteStation a part of your course? And you can just simply click yes.
So remember, it's Modify Course, then Modify Course Information. And the next thing I'm going to be talking about is, I have to go all the way back to my courses. Editing Essentials is really, to me, is very, very exciting. This was developed by other law professors. They like CiteStation so much, they said, but we've got a great use for it. It's designed for law review staff. You know how law reviews, the staff's always, there's always a constant turnover. Nobody really concentrates on teaching, and there's some things about how to write an article, you know, how to develop a topic, how to preemption check, that type of thing. But most of law review work is editing other people's articles and getting them in shape that you feel proud to put them in your publication. And that's what they felt was missing. So what they did, they took the technology of CiteStation and document quizzes, and they created a whole new program for law reviews. And you wonder why I'm going to click on document quizzes here instead of editing essentials, and I have a reason. We're using the document quizzes in this program right now sort of as our editing place, where we edit editing essentials, and so it's a little bit farther developed than editing essentials right now, which is complete. We're just kind of cleaning up some rough edges, and I like these a little better. Let's see, I'm going to go into this first one, and again, here's the cover sheet, same as CiteStation, except you notice here it has sources consult. What the focus of this program is, they want to develop thought processes in students that they don't make automatic choices about how to edit something. They want to develop a sort of a conscious process of going through all the possibilities. They link them to different articles they think will help, and then just refer them to ones that they think, non-online pieces that they think will help. Let me start this one. Okay, now this first one is called Editing Essentials, the Editing Process, Collecting and Checking Sources. The first modules all have to do with editing, and they have to do with things like, does the cited source support the proposition? And that is very dangerous today, as you know, at law school, where students type in a couple words, they bring up some documents, they think they've got the answer without reading the whole document. And so this is to encourage them to read the entire document to make sure that in spite of this one paragraph that seems to say what they want it to say or think it says, that the whole document supports that proposition. Detecting errors of law and fact, avoiding and detecting plagiarism, you know, what it is, what it isn't. How to paraphrase, what you can paraphrase, what you can't paraphrase, and if you decide you can paraphrase, how to do it. There's a lot in this section about the quality of web sources, when you can trust them or how much you could trust them, and then of course special web issues like, you know, decaying sites and things like that. The second group of exercises have more to do with citation-like exercises, except the type of sites that law reviews would be more likely to use. Forthcoming works that have not yet been published, interviews, broadcasts, internet sources, international sources, broadcasts, sources that come in multi-volumes, legislative material. But just, it's a whole wide range of materials that usually they have no experience with any kind of training in that type of citation in a regular legal research class. Again, they're in the context of very interesting law review articles. The authors actually wrote these articles. They were afraid to lift them out of already published works. They decided, just to be on the safe side, they would write their own articles. But this one is extremely interesting. It differs from CiteStation in a couple ways. First of all, of course, it's in a law review, in the context of a law review. Second of all, when you'll see the questions, the answers, and the explanations tend to be much more complex. They really force the students to think about the answers and why one answer is right and why another answer is wrong. Occasionally they'll cite to Blluebook and ALWD in this, especially this module. Often they don't. It's just a philosophical discussion. And then the second thing, the third thing is it will link. It will link to internet sites, it'll link to PDFs, and it will link to sites on Westlaw. Now, I'm going to open this first question link right here. Yeah.
Is there a separate version of this for Blluebook?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I should have said it. Yes, this comes in Blluebook and ALWD also. Okay, now you can see, already you can see that the questions tend to be quite complex. And they elected, in Edit Essentials, no matter which question you select, you immediately get the explanation. And you notice right there it's taking you to Darby Dickerson's work at 498. If I could link right to where she discusses this. So it's quite context rich. And again, this does cite to the rule, but you notice there's a lot of explanation about that rule. And then you close the link, and again, the icon changes color. Okay. Let's see. Well, I should have cited Darby's article, but anyway, okay, here's something it's linked to. An Associated Press study in the Pittsburgh Tribune Review. Now, if the authors felt something was extremely time sensitive, but they wanted it for a point, they would make a PDF to kind of freeze it in time, because we couldn't constantly be going in every time the site updated. Okay, what's this? It's just a PDF. Here it comes. This is sort of I have his mouse, Shelley's computer. We don't know what's going to happen here, but this is the way it's going to work. It's coming up slowly. Okay, but this is one of the things they put on PDF because they were a little afraid that it would decay or disappear. Another thing that we have is, okay, let's see. Oh, let me go down to, there's just another internet site. Okay, here's a Westlaw one. And there's the article. It's just that easy, so that the student is forced to read the whole article and not a little piece of it. That's okay. Now, something interesting too. I'm going to go down to footnote 10 and 11. Okay, here's the cite to a Senate bill that was in the 108th Congress. It's on Westlaw, no problem. There it is, no problem. And I noticed, and they do this, footnote 11 refers to the same Senate bill, but they want you to go here. This is another cite, and it should be, and we don't have to do it, but it should be under this section right here. Of the 108th Congress. And it's actually, I've never gotten quite this result before. Oh, I know why. I did something wrong, I think. I wanted to search by bill number. I'm sorry, that's where I went wrong. Okay, so I think the purpose, of course, this exercise is they might say it's there, but it just doesn't happen to be there. So, again, the whole purpose of this is to make law students think about this. And before we went ahead and spent the money on paying these authors to develop this, we did a survey of about 1,200 third-year law review members. And it was really, really amazing. 78% of them said yes, they thought something like this was really needed. 96% said they'd never heard of such a thing. 78% said they would consider using, and 88% said they would recommend it, and 68% said they would even consider making it mandatory for their law review staff. So we feel it's a much, much needed and will be appreciated product. Yeah.
Now, how many are using it now, or is it up and running?
This is pilot. This is,
When
you,
might it be available?
it will be available this summer. It's going to be, and just as the CiteStation is, now when a student selects law review under topic when you create a TWEN course, this will automatically be added to it. But also they can go through the same process as before under modify course information, and add it to the course. Yes?
Is this product going to be marketed directly to the journals?
Yes, yes. But we would appreciate any word, any way the word gets to them. Yes.
Is it only, can you only access it using TWEN?
Right, somebody else sort of asked that. Yes, right now, TWEN, and especially both TWEN and CiteStation, in the back of our minds, we're thinking we'd like for it to be able to be on professors' home pages, other sources. That's something in the world of priorities we don't have the resources to do right now.
But it could be a link from some faculty member's personal webpage directly to this, could it not?
It's it's embedded within TWEN. It could be a link, and what would happen then is they'd get a prompt to sign on to TWEN.
Sign on to TWEN.
But the link would then take them directly to that page once they signed on.
Yeah,
So there would be kind of that interim step because
Okay.
it's hidden in TWEN.
I'm thinking my faculty law review advisor would put that on his personal webpage link.
Sure.
So that would be maybe.
Like I said, provided that it's available within TWEN, and
Right.
provided that they have access to that course in
Right.
TWEN, it would take them directly to it.
But most of my law reviews, the law reviews that I know have set up their own TWEN sites anyway.
It's actually very common.
Yeah,
And they could put the law.
They could just put the
they
law
could-
review.
They could just add this to it.
This piece of their own.
Sure.
Is there going to be an extra cost associated with it?
No cost whatsoever. And the authors get no royalties for this. We just paid them to do it. It's ours, and now it's yours. Any other questions? And if you, yes?
So now while it's on pilot, we can still go get it by going to document essentials?
We did pilot because, as I said, there's still, the authors, they're perfectionists, and they keep tinkering with it. It is essentially there, and it's very usable. It's mostly visual things they're tinkering with right now. Notice there's a page line around this in 5. In editing essentials, there's just a break where it says begin, end page 5, begin page 6. They wanted it to look more like an actual printed page. So the content is the same, but they're tinkering with the looks of it right now. Mm-hmm.
Who else would you be marketing it with in law schools, like law librarians?
Please give suggestions, because we keep talking about this. We're not quite sure. You think law librarians?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Because we have discussions, and we really are not sure what other groups would be interested in this.
Legal writing instructors?
And of course, as part of it is the different citation formats when you're writing for a scholarly piece rather than writing for the courts or memorandums. So that's what we have to figure out, what people deal with those type of issues.
At what point do you choose whether you're using ALWD or Blluebook on this?
You'll know what you want, which format you want to use.
Right, that's when you set up the page,
Yeah, they're available actually in
I just
both
didn't
ALWD
see-
and in Blluebook format.
right. But if you're law review that insists people use Blluebook, you don't want the ALWD rules to even
See,
show.
I have this hidden right now from students. What is the first one? It's ALWD. Okay. But I can go in there and I can show the quiz, or I can hide the quiz.
Right, can you make the quiz be Blluebook?
No, you can't make it be Blluebook, but all I would do then is just go right down to the next one.
It is available.
Separate
Yeah.
modules
All
you
right.
select.
So
Yeah, you would select the modules you wanted.
All right, I'm sorry, I just missed that.
Oh, yeah. No, that's
So
fine.
you would just make
because-
the Blluebook versions available to the students and keep all at once hidden.
Right, but our first year liberal research and writing teacher would only use the ALWD.
And one of the things they think that editing essentials might be useful for, and maybe CiteStation, apparently in the law school, some of them are teaching the ALWD format, but they want the Blluebook format for their law reviews. And so they're having to make that switch. So that is built into editing essentials also, a way to pinpoint the differences so that they're aware that they're going to have to be switching to a different style.
Could you repeat that again?
Yeah. This is, I don't know this for a fact. I understand the schools that have adopted ALWD, even though the schools that have adopted ALWD teach it in their legal research and writing classes, when they get on law review, they're expected to switch over to Blluebook format.
Right. Now, how do you accommodate that situation?
It's built into their, by the authors.
So if I do the ALWD exercise, what does that mean
I don't know.
to me? You say it's built in.
It's built in. I really honestly don't know, but I can
Okay.
find out for you. But the author, all I know is the authors were very aware of this problem, and they said that this is how they were going to structure these exercises to take that into account.
Okay,
That some students.
so that they will say maybe an explanation. However, if you, in
Exactly.
a Blluebook situation, it would be handled differently, or this is the way it would work, something like that.
Yes, I wish I could give you a more
Okay,
definitive
so it
answer.
just pushed you too far.
You have pushed me too far. And there could be the perfect question that illustrates that I have to admit I have not seen it.
Yeah, because that, I imagine a lot of schools, we had
I just- Yes?
In TWEN, under the assignments, if you allow students to email assignments, you can also check it so that it will email the professor to say so-and-so has submitted an assignment. On CiteStation and editing essentials, I didn't see it, but perhaps it's there. Can you also have it set up so that the professor will be notified when a student has completed one of these modules?
Currently, I don't believe that is available. That is a good point, to make that option available. You're exactly right. For any other assignment within the assignment Dropbox, there is an option where they can be notified via email that so-and-so has completed their assignment. Yeah, it is not there currently. Definitely something we could build into it, though.
Yeah, I would recommend that.
Okay.
Yes.
Our students are using ALWD in their first year writing courses, and then they switch over for other reasons. When the students go on into law review, the explanations actually really include the Blluebook version. I don't know if they do this year or not, but they included something about the differences between ALWD and Blluebook that might be helpful for the students that are in this situation, and I don't think my students are in that.
Right, and this is an area that I seem to be weak on because I know the authors were very, very aware of this problem and planned to build it in the exercise. I have to admit, I personally haven't seen where it's...
CiteStation, they don't have an explanation, this is the difference between Blluebook.
No, but, so you'd even like to see it in CiteStation.
It might be helpful for students who are trying to make the transition to clerking or extension.
I suppose that the solution would be kind of maybe not the most seamless one, but to have them print off the questions in Blluebook and ALWD format and then look at the answers. I know our programmers had a horrible time when they went through this because they couldn't understand that the answers would be different for the different for questions. They wanted to make everything right, and we had to keep saying no.
50 states that rhyme so long. West would be not making money, and law was that easy. I would tend to say you wouldn't want that as a first option. When you're teaching people the first time how to do legal citation, I don't think that at least most students are equipped to deal
We have
with
two tracks.
two separate systems. I mean, it's easier, we already have this with Lexis and Westlaw, where they're learning one and they're learning the other, usually right together. And I think that's critical. But the number of students, at least at our school, are going to be on law review are 5%, 10% at most. 90% of the people, maybe some of them when they get out will be in firms that require it, maybe some courts will require it, but for most of them, it'll just make it much more difficult for them to really focus on what they need. I think it's reasonable to say that you have maybe a version of that where you take it into account, but that's another version, and I don't think there'll be a lot of people wanting to use that version.
Yes.
I'm not sure you need a straight comparison parallel track either. It's the highlights, it's the big differences, which are really very few.
Yes, have you seen the Blluebook chart that Allwood put
Well,
out?
that's what I'm thinking, that chart.
I suppose we could just, if nothing else, post that.
Link to that when you hit that rule on your explanation, say rule, 16.5 in the Blluebook. Click for comparison to Allwood.
Yeah, because that's, it's,
Because it's not the first years who need to know Blluebook, it's the law review who need to unlearn Allwood.
yes.
We began this summer, which was really similar. We had Allwood in the first semester or first year, and then found that not only is it the law review, but also the professor's legal research assistants that also need to be familiar with the book form because as they're assisting professors, they're the ones this summer that have to be brought up to speed on Blluebook. And we used the comparison chart, and we looked at this, didn't have enough time, and one of the things that occurred to me to incentivize perhaps research assistants and law review students. At one point, I know Wes did this. You get, certified in statutory research, a whole series of little programs, which you could come out, students could come out with some sort of certificate saying they've been through a training program with Wes. If perhaps Wes had a similar program in which you ended up being Blluebook certified, Allwood certified, and I forget, they got brownie points or something like that, but I remember a few years back, they were running a whole series of programs, and that might enable places that are trying to do supplemental programs.
That's interesting.
For Blluebooking for not only law reviews, but also research assistants. Come at it from a different.
Interesting.
Um, Has the product already been pre-marketed to the law schools, to the law reviews at all?
Editing Essentials?
Yes.
Yes, yes,
It was an NCLR.
NCLR, I mean, in a limited way. If National Conference of Law Reviews, where the two editors from each law review go.
I have to ask, when does that conference take place?
March.
In March. Okay. So it would be the outgoing.
Usually it's one outgoing and one ingoing.
Yes.
Incoming.
Right, except we have our elections so much later, so that's
Also,
what I'm
okay.
And the second question would be, is there any way that perhaps the librarians can get access to this prior to its rollout so that we can start looking at it and be prepared for the thousands of questions?
Sure,
for the
of
questions?
course, of
Because
course.
we're the ones who train the law review.
Oh, I didn't, just see, we're learning things. No one's told us that before.
And we have a whole, we have 6 journals, and we do basic, what we call tech check training for them, site checking training. So,
Access to Editing Essentials is already available.
Yeah.
We're keeping it in what we call our pilot format because, as Carolyn said, we're kind of just cleaning up some of the look on the pages themselves.
We can get it as a button.
Any course in which you're the course administrator, to get access to it, it's the same way that we talked about for CiteStation. You simply go into Modify Course, click on Modify Course Information. In fact, Carolyn, if you could show them.
I think Editing Essentials is already there,
Yep,
isn't it?
that's exactly right. It's already there.
What have I done? I bought something here.
There you go. Modify Course. It is currently available. Again, it is in the pilot state.
And
And if you keep scrolling
going,
down,
right there it is.
There it is right there. So by default, unless you had selected that the course is, your course type is a law review, the Editing Essentials button doesn't appear. But if it doesn't, that's okay. You can go on right here and click on Show the Editing Essentials button, and it'll pop into your course. So
Now-
any course in which you're the course administrator right now, you can already add it.
Another warning, not a warning, but just to clarify something. Right now, we only have 4 modules loaded. 6 more are due to be loaded by June 30th. And I have my fingers crossed. The authors swear they're working on them, have them ready, and I think they will. But quite truthfully, I think this first section is what law reviews need the most. These judgment calls they have to make constantly. The other gets more into the, you know, the nuts and bolts of how you do something. But this is the heart of the program.
Did you say that you guys make it available to TWEN because you don't have any other place to put it? It seems odd that you would stick it inside.
I think they did it because there's a lot of law reviews that use TWEN, and they incorporate, you know, all of their law review information into what we call TWEN courses, and they just include that as part of their TWEN course or their TWEN site. And so that seemed at the time the logical place to put it as a result of that.
But I,
But we're outside of TWEN also, that you can use it for training.
Sure.
Maybe outside of the course.
I always say that with TWEN or anything we have, we don't really rule out anything. It's certainly something we could definitely look into for a future development effort. But,
and
I would
remember the
definitely be interested
suggestion
in that.
from over here about, you know, linking into TWEN. Because that would certainly be an easy compromise. Well, if there's no more questions, thank you for coming, and I hope you'll go online and try. It's really fun. I can't exaggerate how much fun these exercises are to read. Which in citation, learning citation is really a novelty. And take one of the a manual. There is
One of
Blluebook.
each.
You can take whatever you want. If there's not enough to go around, we've got more down at the booth. Thank you. Yeah.
Pardon me?
Overwhelmingly, they're all like,
Oh, wow.
They can.
no, I know, I can,
Okay.
but I'm just saying,
You know-
future releases, you might think,
You know, like I said, it is fairly...
Ask Dan, because I think this is a new, I don't think you're the only one that's telling Dan. I think he may